Sleeper! Hear Bliss's voice hiss on as you pass through the rig's central corridor. You have to come to see! Follow their voice and find them floating outside the supply store looking in. Bliss holds a finger to their lips and nods inside. Quietly! He's eating! You look inside and see a cat floating just inside, batting at a food pouch. The stray barely acknowledges your and Bliss's presence, instead angles its body to catch the droplets of liquid that are released from the transparent packet. Looks like we found our stowaway. Bliss smiles at you. Hey there, girl! Bliss whispers at the stray, beckoning. They hold up their hands so the cat can see them. Not here to take those rations away, alright? You both watch as the stray suddenly kicks away, twisting ballistically through the air and gliding past you both out of the supply store. It catches one of the corridor's ribs, swinging itself to the wall where it perches and watches Bliss with big eyes. Oh my gosh, just realized that the cat in 0G would be so much chaos. That just... Suddenly there is like no place where you can have like that's outside of a purview of a cat. Or outside of reach of a cat. The comfort of its movement in 0G is striking, and you realize you have never seen an animal navigate in microgravity before. Exactly my point. You hear a sound and turn to find Seraphine arriving from the direction of the engine room. He stops dead in his tracks against the wall, staring at the stray. What the hell is that? Seraphine hisses his questions at you both. It's our stowaway. Yeah, but what is it? Seraphine looks at you confused. Careful there. This holds up a hand to Seraphine. Don't scare her. So that's a cat? Seraphine is watching the stray carefully, either fascinated or scared, it's hard to tell. I thought it would be bigger. You've never seen a cat before? Heard I have seen a cat? Seraphine looks at you. Come to think of it, where have you seen a cat? The question makes you pause. Where have you seen a cat? Not in the belt, not in 0G. You close your eyes and bring to mind a faint image of a cat stretching in the sun. Somewhere warm, somewhere with weight, with gravity. You touch the fur of its back and it reacts, sliding against your hand. Careful! Seraphine's hissed warning brings you back. This is reaching out to the stray. Don't scare her. Bliss makes a thudding sound. We had cats back on the eye, but they were in spin gravity there. The stray's big eyes watch Bliss's hand as it approaches. When they touch the top of her head, the stray does not move, does not react. Get her leg. Bliss nods to the sleeve on the cat. She's been hurt before and taken care of? She's really scared. You see the cat is gently trembling with Bliss's touch, but slowly she settles and angles her head for Bliss to scratch her ear. The movement brings back the mysterious memory. What is it? What is its origin? Focusing on it makes your skin tremble, a shiver running up your arms. It's been breaking into our supplies. Seraphine has his arms folded and is looking at Bliss. Now we've caught it. We should let it out. Look at her. She's not going to do that again. Bliss's eyes meet the stray's. You aren't going to do that as long as we feed you, right? That may be true, but we can't risk it happening again. What if we'd been on a contract? Seraphine gives Bliss a reproachful look. We can't keep it. Yeah, what if we had to feed the stray on the contract? That would be horrible. Bliss shakes their head. She's a stray. It's a home. Right, Sleeper? Bliss looks at you. We're keeping her. We're keeping the cat, Jesus. Bliss smiles widely, unable to contain their excitement. You won't regret it. They look at Seraphine. Plus, the rig is already full of strays as it is. I guess it is. Seraphine concedes. You have to feed her though, Sleeper. She's your responsibility. As a stray. I never thought a cat could eat so much. Seraphine's right. Looks like you'll need to keep feeding the stray every few cycles if you want her to stick around. This is going to be expensive. It's more expensive than it was in the first one. And there it was kind of like, oh, if you fed the stray, it was like whatever. If you didn't, it's just like whatever. You'll get used to her. Seraphine reaches out sheepishly towards the stray. As he does, the cat bats playfully at his hand and he pulls it away. If you say so. Besides, I'm not really used to animals. He watches Bliss tries to get Seraphim to pet the stray properly, guiding his hand to its ears for a scratch and explaining how to approach her. As you do, the memory of that other cat runs through your mind. It feels like a raw wound, one that, if you touch it, will only bring pain. But you can't help but pick at it, knowing that it might contain some distant part of you. Okay, that's a minor drive. We also have 3 points already. One more and we'll have to upgrade something. Oh, it would be real funny to like take interface from nothing to +2. Just because, you know, it's a weird thing. But I guess Engage would be the best. Think about it later. Okay, so this is back down to nothing. I really need to go to... Okay, I have to spend the die that I have. So it means that we are jumping the radiated zone. But yeah, I guess I would want to go to Healing Gate anyway. I need to refill. That's a good spot to refill stuff. Or where to refill stuff. You're the first to notice them. Small, white, smooth shapes at the boundaries between hull plates, in the seams of paneling curling out from beneath vents. Mushrooms dotted here and there all across the cargo bay. Mushrooms growing on your ship. This doesn't seem very hygienic. Bliss floats next to you, surveying the scattering of bell caps in the cargo bay. It's hard not to agree, although you doubt spores and fungi can have a significant effect on your body. That you've risked it before. You should land the cargo bay. Seraphim's voice crackles through the cargo bay speakers. He's flying the ship, but you updated him on your new passengers. As what comes from having spores in wonky crates sitting in your bay cycle after cycle. Oh yeah. You look with slight embarrassment at the ragged spore crate that Nemba asked you to deliver to Eki as a gift. Maybe you should have proved a faster career. Bliss sees you looking. Hey, don't blame yourself. They don't seem to be hurting anyone. You float over to a cap and tear it off at the stem. You know from Nemba that these are edible, so... we could farm them? You're always short on supplies. Seraphim's voice buzzes through the speakers. A few caps don't make a meal. Bliss inspects the cap. I do like a good mushroom. They sniff it. Back on the eye, they had these matsutake that smelled amazing. You go over the cargo bay. It doesn't get used much. Most of your halls fit comfortably in one quarter. There's plenty of room to isolate a little growing area. Maybe with some plastic sheets? Or you could just open the hatch and let the void of space sterilize the whole place for you as you fly. After all, if these things get into the air recyclers, you could have serious problem on your hands. And who knows what they might do to the wiring. Either way, you better keep hold of the packet spore crate. Maybe just secure it in its own locker. Nemba wouldn't be impressed if you wanted those spores, but the mushrooms? You have to decide what to do with them. Keep the mushrooms. Bliss holds the cap to their mouth, then thinks better of it. They squint at you. Are you sure? Yeah, keep them. We'll still need to figure out how to harvest and prepare them. Bliss slips the cap into a pocket. I think it's a good call. You hope they're right. The rig is busy enough without adding extra ecosystems into the mix. Like a cat. As you leave the cargo bay, you suddenly realize you've taken on yet another project. It is becoming a habit. Yeah, and like juggling timers. Wonder how that's going to affect stuff. Oh my god, yeah, fungus farmer. Of course. Sure. Why not? Why not? We have plastic sheeting to isolate a section of the bay for farming. I should read the full thing before committing. It's a big job and it just takes focus and patience. Fungus farmer. Farm is coming along nicely, and you find yourself looking forward to finally seeing its fruiting bodies bloom. This is so ridiculous, I love it. It's like... Got some supplies as well. Sure. You put supplies into a special feeder, but set up the stray waits until you're outside of the room to come to eat. I know. It's a thing. It's a whole thing. Ooh, negative. And boom. Farm is ready. Now it's time to figure out how to harvest. Oh my god. Oh, it's into it. No! The one thing we don't have. Farm is working, but you'll have to wait for fruiting bodies to grow before you can harvest them for supplies. That's a good trick. Okay, one cycle here. Oh, we have to still build more fuel. I mean, technically I could jump already. Yeah, let's jump already. Go to fuel. Let's bring the stuff to Greenbelt. To Aki. Oh, look at that! Not that anymore. The biosphere, once barren, is transformed. Where it was once dry and grey, it now swirls with amber dust. A hazy cloud cut through with the bone-white tendrils of Stepsilk. Aki in mask and goggles lets her biosphere circulating air play with the end of her scarf, twirling and twisting, even threatening to rip it from her neck. That scarf, she has explained, is woven from the best fibers of the Stepsilk itself. That is why this place is known as Weaver's Fields, for the workshop of Greenbelt residents creating fabric from its Stepsilk fibers. Weavers who fled from Ember Steppe and those taught fresh by Eki herself. Isn't it beautiful? Eki asks, her eyes glowing. Ember Steppe, reborn on this rock, but not as an archive, as something new. The plants themselves are reconfigured, the Stepsilk adapts well to the microgravity, even thrives, and the dust itself becomes a cloud that surrounds it. Eki points to a tendril stretching across the space. What was once a burrowing plant is now a bridging plant. Like us, it projects itself across empty space, pushing out into its new conditions. Eki looks at you. Sorry, I'm rambling. This place does that to me. Her chuckle is muffled by her mask. Oh, it is beautiful. Eki bows. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Let's leave the dust house. We can talk more easily outside. He shepherds you through some nearby double doors, the space between blasting you with air to clean away the dust. You find yourself in a sparse room, racks of unfamiliar tools on the wall, slate-like windows looking out into the amber dust storm. This is just the beginning for us. Eki has slipped off her mask, and her voice is crisp and bright above the rumbling of the air recyclers. Stepsilk is already being harvested, threaded, and woven. This is no synthetic fiber from the dark side looms. This is a natural fabric out here in its unnatural place. Eki brushes a little dust away. We will trade it and get what Greenbelt needs to stay stable, to feed its people. I'm the administrator, the workers of the owners of here. And we will make a future for ourselves from our work. He shrugs. We control our path. What more could we want? Silence falls in the room, the idea of such a future, so desirable that it's almost painful. An idea that haunts you. You can spend as much time here as you like. He breaks the silence, somehow aware of your thoughts. Find the noise soothes me. Thank you. Eki bows gently. There's something you want to ask me, smiles. I can see it right there on the tip of your tongue. Explain about Namba. Eki listens carefully as you talk about the refugees in the Far Spindle and the possibility of setting up a mutual relationship between them and Greenbelt. The Far Spindle is a long way from here, he sighs. Come, find me in my unit later. We can discuss more then. You leave Aki in her dust house, surrounded by the landscape of her home world. One of many creatures born on that parched moon that is in the process of transforming into something new. Aww. And 2 points! That was a major drive. Let's second go. So. Well, this is tempting. It would not necessarily be the best choice as far as the crew goes, because it's Junie. Okay. So I do have Intuit people, which is fine. I believe I don't have any Engage people. No Engage people, so let's upgrade Engage to a +1. I'll do a +2 in that, and that way I'm going to be doing what the rest of the crew is, or I'll be focusing to be strong in what the rest of my crew is not strong in, or is weaker in.